Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.
Alright, welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass podcast with Kevin and Chuck. Today we're going to talk about prepping on a budget. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been talking a lot about, night vision and building AR-15s and I don't know, all kinds of things, and everything costs $1,000 or $5,000. And maybe that's a little intimidating. You don't need to be crazy. I know in some of our early on episodes, we talked about, you don't have to go buy the latest things, the gadgets and whatever. And maybe I've gotten away from that. I get excited when I see the new shiny thing. You guys know how it is. But, the bottom line, you can start to prepare. You don't need to be overwhelmed by it all. A lot of people get scared off and say, I can't buy a year's supply of food, so, I can't even afford that, so what am I going to do? That's not going to help me if,
right. I know a lot of people that would prep if they weren't so intimidated by the cost of things.
Right, and that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid I'm, scaring you guys off, and so I decided I better do a little research. I started looking around, and I was listening to other podcasts on prepping on a budget and different things. I searched out all my usual research like I do. And the bottom line, it turns out, they were talking about $5 it was a week or a month, but right. Either way, that's nothing. But for our purposes today, let's say $5 a week. Mm-hmm. You know what? $5 a week in a couple of them in a month, 2 months, you can actually make a difference and change your family's, preparedness.
Right.
And, we'll put it this way. If you're living large and your weekly grocery budget is maybe $250, in New York, that can easily happen.
Right, especially if you got 18 kids like you do.
When you have a bunch of kids like I do, you're feeding a dog that freaking needs special dog food and every other damn thing. You could spend $250. But let's just, for the sake of comparison, say you're feeding your family on $70. All right? So to match the $250 budget, I need to prep a whole lot more than the guy who's making do with $70 a week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He needs to invest a lot less to have a week's supply of food for his family than I do for mine. So, just that said, I know I've, $1,000, $500, you need an arsenal of AR-15s. You need to go buy the $7 red fox urine that I bought today. Because, who doesn't need to spend $7 on fox urine?
Yeah, I'll give you a whole cup of piss to go home with. You can take it home with you. Free.
That was pretty exciting, Oh, well, you got a bunch of foot traps for me. I'm going to be Trapper Joe with my trap line. I'm going to be like the guy on Mountain Men and crap. Here's $70, $60, $50, And that's the thing. It just kind of gets away from you. So the bottom line, I don't want you guys to be intimidated. I want you to realize there's multiple options. And, I know, I I get thrown all over the place in my mind. I'm like, oh, I need to buy ammo and bullets and guns. And I need to buy food. And, if I don't have silver coins, and if I don't have, and there's just so many different ways you can get torn.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to kind of melt it down to the basics.
Yeah.
Did you have something you wanted to cover first, or?
Yeah, well, it's kind of hard to, when you're on a budget, you got a budget, you got a budget. So, good way to get started with this sort of thing is, go through your cupboards, go through your cabinets, kind of take an inventory of what you got.
I like that.
What's long-term storage stuff, canned vegetables and canned soups and boxes of dry pasta and things like that, rice. Go through what you got to begin with.
And check the dates.
Check the dates.
Maybe you got some stuff you need to get going. And
what
maybe...
I'd recommend is going light, spending less money at the grocery store that first week and just try and use up everything you have.
Okay.
And then see what's left. See what's left that you can't use. Because you went through everything and you got peanut butter and no jelly. You got cereal, no milk. You got Captain and no Crunch.
Oh, Crunch and no berries.
So go out and just get the companion foods that you need to make a meal. Okay. Sometimes that's meat. That's usually meat to go with vegetables. It's hard to store meat long term unless you got a big freezer.
Yeah.
Then you have to kind of budget through your monthly costs. Your mortgage, your car payments, your insurance, utility bills, and then factor what your food costs. You got to keep in mind all the other stuff. Like school pictures and haircuts for the kids and all that nonsense. But you'll quickly realize that you can spare a few extra dollars.
Most people can spare a few extra dollars.
Most people can.
Dave Ramsey has you going with, you can ride those bald tires just a little bit longer. So.
I did that last week, and I had a blowout. And I just replaced the front two tires. And then 2 weeks later, I had another blowout. I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, it happens.
But I got 4 new tires now. I sucked it up. And tires, honestly, you should have good tires on your car. That's just
especially if you live in the Northeast.
Yeah, that's poor behavior, not taking. But that's another thing, though, about, prepping on a budget. Those are things that you need to think about as far as, keeping your car maintained, changing your oil, and that sort of thing is going to save you money in the long run. Keeping your house up to date, insulation, that sort of stuff, whether you're going to bug in or bug out. You want to keep your house and your car, your vehicle in good shape.
Don't get these people carried away. Now, remember, we're going to start at the basics.
Right. Sorry. All right, so...
You're already getting people overwhelmed. Right now, they're going, oh, crap. Now I got to worry about my car. I was just worried about freaking making sure I could feed my family this week.
Yeah, so what you should be doing is once you get an inventory, once you try and eat everything that's in your house.
All right.
Now's when you start shopping. So you're going to want to build up a supply of food that's long-term storage that you actually eat. You want your diet, to come from a lot of sources where the food that you're eating this week could wait until, next week or the week after.
All right.
I'm not telling people to not eat their vegetables and fruits and stuff. Don't get all excited. Being healthy is important.
All right.
But, so keep that in mind. Now, you're eventually going to eat everything you have aside of what's left over that you bought for some ridiculous reason and you got in your... my whole refrigerator is half of it's full of shit that I don't use.
I can make a dinner out of cocktail weenies. So
so the more you stock up your pantry, the more in control of your life you're going to feel.
Right.
The more you have assets sitting around, the less you're going to have to worry about, day-to-day living.
I got to say, and again, to the guy who's worried about saving an extra $5 a week, this is off task. But to those of you that are a little ahead of that game but still spending some money, once you have $1,000 set aside for when emergencies come up, it changes your whole outlook on things. You know, when you got that $1,000 in the safe, if, you know, I mean, most people, honestly, you should be able to set aside $100 a month and save up for 10 months and just kind of have a nest egg set aside.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't retirement. This isn't whatever. This is, oh crap, I'm on bald tires and I, you know, my wife's car just broke down. I mean, honestly, I drive the old crappy car, but I make sure I have enough money that I can go buy another old crappy car. You know, if something goes wrong that's too far wrong, you know? So just, you know, that little cushion, that bit of comfort that you get out of these things.
Mm-hmm. And remember, if you can't spend money, you can always spend time on learning knowledge.
I wanted to talk about
doing your own repairs.
There's a lot of prepping you can do with spending $0.
Mm-hmm.
And because prepping isn't just having the supplies, it's being able to survive.
Right.
It's being able to carry on. And maybe knowledge is what's going to buy you an extra 5 weeks with what you have or whatever. Right.
And there's a good chance that
maybe barter is something you'll be able to do. Because
there's a good chance if you're in trouble, you know, if you're in a serious situation that what we're all planning for, you're gonna be short on things, you know, and having that knowledge to fall back on will make up for a lot of deficits.
That was definitely something I wanted to cover. You know, there's those instructable videos. They're great. There's a million things you can learn to do to take care of things, come up with extra ways to heat your house, to do, and a lot of it is stuff for free.
Right.
If you really truly are the guy who's like, well, you know what, I can spend $5 a week and that's it. So now you buy an extra $5 worth of canned food. And you know what? That'll add up pretty quick in a month.
Yep.
You know, it really can be. But, all right, so you can only buy $5 worth of canned food for the month. But can you use your time to look at Craigslist in the free section? There's tons of stuff on there. A lot of it might be useful to building up your prepping. I see free chickens on there sometimes. Not a lot. I'm not saying that's always there. I know you had a friend just recently giving away free goats.
Right.
Again, if you can't spare an extra $5, maybe you don't need to be feeding goats. I'm not sure. But maybe you have the land, you just don't have the dollars. Then maybe that is something you can look into.
And maybe you can take that free goat and just eat it.
And maybe you can eat that goat and now you got dinner. Or maybe you can use those goats to range on your neighbor's field and cut the grass for them. You know, these things, I know here locally, somebody freaking rents out for $29,000 a year. They rent out their goats to go eat under the bridges. Yeah,
I've heard about that. You know, another thing, we were talking about Craigslist.
Yeah.
Yard sales are good, too, for the same sort of stuff.
Yard sales are great.
And not just to buy things. I mean, get all your old crap out there and sell it. Maybe you'll make an extra $100 that you can spend, in a way you'd prefer.
Maybe you use your time, make a solar still, right? I mean, there's all kinds of cool
all sorts
things
of stuff,
you could be doing on YouTube for free. And, you know, hey, all of a sudden you're planning.
Right.
And if you know how to make a solar still, which is not hard to do, then that's all of a sudden you're a valuable guy in, the end of the world, especially if you live in Florida or somewhere where you got salt water, but not, you got salt water and sun.
Yeah.
You can do things.
And, you want to pay attention to what you're spending the money on. You know, freeze-dried food is great, but it's great because it's lightweight. It's not great because it's cheap.
Right.
Don't start with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, if you're on a budget, the freeze-dried food is not right. But if you're spending $70, $100, $200 on bullshit every month, maybe you should buy some freaking freeze-dried food. You know, maybe you should buy the $79, year supply of coffee on Amazon. You know, maybe that is right. But, yeah, if you have $5 a week, you're an idiot if you're buying freeze-dried food because you don't have it. Go on.
Yeah, I wanted to just touch on a couple of items here that might be good starters if you're on a budget.
All right.
Bleach, cheap. It can be used, 100 different ways.
Yep.
Disinfecting, sanitizing, purifying water, cleaning prep areas. You can even use it to clean, clean your hands. A good mix is like half cup of bleach for a gallon of water when you're doing cleaning. You can use it to clean your fruits and vegetables, all that stuff. Peanut butter, pretty cheap, calorie dense, long shelf life. With the bleach, you got about a year before you need to use it. That's a good amount of time. You can get 5 or 6 jugs of bleach for $5 or $6, and keep it on your shelf and just rotate it out.
And if you do the research, I'm sure you can find some kind of pool shock and buy it in the off season at Target. And get it for even cheaper, for quantity of what you're going to, get out of it.
Right,
but
right.
Whatever.
Paper plates and cups are good if you have a feeling you're going to be short on water. If you're not going to be doing a lot of washing. It's a good thing to have, stashed away. Bandanas.
Oh?
Filter. You could filter, use it over your nose to filter air. Use it to filter out your water before you purify it. Bandages, cleaning rags, a lot of uses. They're very inexpensive.
I like it.
Let me see here. Trash bags, not expensive. Great thing to have in the cabinet. You can use it for everything. Keep your boots in there. Keep your clothes in there to keep them dry if you're on the move.
Whatever.
Use them as a poncho. Use them as wrapping tents and sleeping bags when you're packing things up to move. You can use it to cover a bandage that might get wet. If you bandaged it up, you can use that to keep it clean. That's one of those things that I stick in anytime I go out doing something. That's in my bug out bag. If I'm going camping, that's come along with me. It's just a very inexpensive, lightweight, useful item for a bug out bag. And don't forget, your kid's backpack is his daily bug out bag. So think about that when you're packing his lunch, man. Maybe throw a couple extra things in there that he might need. Flashlight, that sort of stuff.
When my kid went away to college, I had some, kids in high school still and whatever last year. I bought those little clip-on flashlights, put on the book bags. So they all have it wherever they go, and they're the little LED that are really bright. I think they were like $10 each. But I ended up cashing in on a Christmas gift for each of them. And was like, here, clip this on your backpack, and then you got it.
Right.
Doesn't take up any space. It's kind of neat. People are like, oh, you're cool.
Right.
And,
But, a flashlight is never something you think about until you're in the dark without one. So it's a good thing to keep in your car.
In my house.
Yeah.
So,
I have drawers full of them. I got them in my car, my toolbox. I got them everywhere. I got to go through them all the time, though. I keep catching myself letting the batteries die.
Right.
Another great thing to have on hand, a lot of very inexpensive salt. You can use it to preserve foods, melt ice, tenderize meat. You can use it for gargling salt water for sore throat, things like that. And you can puts out grease fires. I didn't know that. You can use it with baking soda for toothpaste. I mean, it's something that just is handy to have around, and it's not going to go bad.
Right.
There's no shelf life on salt.
Got to keep it dry.
That's it. Vinegar is another really inexpensive thing to keep around that has a lot of uses.
That's a pretty good tool, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff is what you want to focus on is things that aren't going to go bad, and there's a lot of inexpensive things like that, So, duct tape, another great one. But I always preach about duct tape.
You do like
You're
duct
tired
tape.
of that? Yeah.
Or Gorilla Tape. I think I always try and one up you on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So
don't forget the toilet paper.
Oh, toilet paper.
There's no reason to not have an extra.
You guys
got to
be buying the Scott with the 1,000 sheets. Don't fall for that. You need soft cushy for your ass. I do have some kids that are like, but I like the soft cushy for my ass. But you know what? Man up. All right, so your $5 a budget guy again, grocery store, maybe even canned food isn't the greatest, but that's one option, and you can start. People say, oh, just buy 2 of everything, here and there. Well, I just went to the grocery store and I bought like 3 of everything because I hate going to the grocery store. And I'm like, and we have a place that we go to locally for our fresh food, our fresh meat, our fresh vegetables. But the grocery store, it's a lot cheaper to buy the staples kind of thing that are in the cardboard boxes and the whatever.
Right.
So I was like, oh, let me buy 3 times everything. And then that's where I came out and I'm like, oh, $2.80 or something. Damn it. But anyway, and that's without the meat and the vegetables, that's just the other stuff.
Yeah.
So don't get too crazy.
I mean, I try and do that. I budget when I go grocery store shopping. Right. I always throw in a couple extra cans of beans, a couple extra this and that,
And people
and
always
if you're going to use it anyway, you're not wasting the money.
You really should be buying food that you're going to eat.
Right.
That's good. The only thing that I wouldn't eat day to day that I really bought for kind of the prepping stockpile is corned beef and hash. Stuff's freaking awesome.
I have cans of it.
But it's like 500 calories a can, or even worse maybe.
Yeah, no, it's not something to stay healthy on.
But if you need calories at the end of the world, you're like, oh yeah,
right.
I'm going to feel good.
The reason, I'll be honest, the reason I have a big supply of that is because I'm always excited at the grocery store. I get it.
And then you go home.
And then I go home and nobody else in the house will eat it. They're like, I'm not eating a whole can by myself, man. That's instant
death.
Yeah, that's instant death. That'll give me a heart attack immediately. So I have cans of it just because nobody else will eat it. I'm
praying for the end of the world just so I can eat the corned beef.
Just so I can get it.
Because right now, I got it. I'd just like, I'll just be a fat ass. I can't do it. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, I have cans of Spam like that too.
Yeah, exactly.
That I bought because I was going to eat it, but nobody else will eat it.
Well, that's it. So you got that. I just bought, I think it was $11.99 for 5 pounds of the type of flour that the wife uses. Something like that, all right? So you had to save for 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. You buy that. Then I put it in the big gallon Ziploc bags.
Yeah.
And I just filled a 5-gallon bucket with a lid. Mm-hmm. Done. People who are having problems with rodents, insects, things like that. Anything we talk about, storing rice, beans, any of this, if you sprinkle a little of that diatomaceous earth, that'll kill any hard shell insects, anything that gets in there.
Make sure you get there's
the guys always say do them. Yeah, well, there's food grade, right?
Right.
So
you want to be careful about it because you can also poison yourself.
No one is poisoning themselves. So then there's good looking out, Kevin. We appreciate it. All right. So then. I don't know. I had to throw that. Hey, what can I tell you?
You're not hurting my feelings.
I was crying a little on the inside there, so that's why. So anyway, they have the Mylar bags or whatever to store them.
Yeah, what do you think of those? I haven't got those Mylar bags.
I don't know. Supposedly it gives it a longer shelf life and all this. I don't know. I just do the gallon Ziploc bags. Because they're cheap at Sam's Club. You can buy huge freaking things of them for, $10 or whatever.
Right.
But, so I fill rice. You buy, I think it's $15, buys you 25 pounds of rice. Don't hold me to this. This is out of my head. Right. But I buy the 25-pound bag of rice. And then I break it up, put it in 5-gallon buckets, put a lid on it. I got that. I've never had a problem with rodents and stuff, sealing them and then closing it up. Maybe you guys do. I don't know. I have chicken feed laying on the floor in my utility room, and I have no mice. So I don't know what you guys are doing.
You don't have any cats, though, either, huh?
No cats. But so you're buying 25 pounds of rice for like $15. Mm-hmm. You can buy. I think it was like $6 for like, I don't know. Like a half a bucket worth of beans. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much that weighs. Dried beans don't weigh much. Right. But so I started storing those. So again, for $30, you're buying rice and beans that would last you like a month. May not be that healthy, but it's calories. It's got protein. It'll keep you alive. And you know what? It keeps your baby's bellies full. So if you have no money and you need the budget prep, right there, I did that, and I have, some fancy freeze-dried food and all this and that. But the bottom line, right out of the gate, I know I got a month's supply that at least our bellies aren't going to be hurting and my babies aren't going to be crying.
Right.
You know, and that's something. That's prepping.
Right. And that's not a huge expense.
And right, and we're talking about $25, $30, and that could be your, first step right out of the gate.
Right.
My wife gets excited about the flour, and she can do all these things. I don't know what you do with flour, but whatever. She'll use it and she'll cycle through it. I was like, I bought 5 pounds of flour. I don't think you're ever going to go through it. She's like, you don't even worry about it. I got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with that and your chicken eggs, you can make a
eggs and
Armageddon
flour.
cake.
Armageddon cake, Armageddon pancakes, Armageddon waffles. I mean, we're kicking ass. Now, I can't use my plastic waffle iron with no electricity, but if I had one of the old school iron ones, I'd be waffling it up over the fire.
Yep.
And that's where the yard sailing comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the great items to keep your eyes open at yard sales, the old cooking dishes in the Tupperware containers, those the old quality steel ones, and propane tanks. If you can find a propane tank,
and I know I mentioned it here.
Gem.
Everybody's a knucklehead and goes to the mini mart or the Lowe's or whatever and gets your propane filled for $20 or $25. And if you just look for your local propane guy, you can even find used crappy tanks on the side of the road. People throwing them out. Mm-hmm. They're at this, the salvage yard. What is the sanitation guys? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. When you go to the landfill, that'd be the one. You're not supposed to be picking things there, but come on, I have a beard. What do you want from me? So, but you pull these old tanks. One, you go to one of these places like Lowe's, have them swap it and give you a nice new one. They're dumb and don't care. They'll take it.
Yeah, they're working for minimum wage. And then they're not gonna look at it.
And then take it to one of these propane dealers who will fill your tank for $10, $12. Mm-hmm. I have 3 tanks because people getting rid of grills, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take it. And I take the propane tank, and then I take the grill to the scrapyard, and I get $5. Mm-hmm. And then now I have 3 propane tanks under my deck.
Yep.
And twice a year, I go to my guy who fills them for $10 a can. If you come between 10 and 2 or whatever.
And any responsible man, whether they're a prepper or not, should have at least two tanks.
That sounds right.
Ones, one on your grill and one for when you run out. Because if you're grilling every night, you don't want a half-cooked steak and realize you don't have any more propane.
It's happened too often.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is really what prepping's about, is being able to finish that steak.
That's right. I don't have a problem with it, but
no,
I'll eat the raw meat.
No. All right.
Yep. So, now, what do you think about canned storage when you have a cupboard full of canned foods? How do you do
the rotation?
A rotation? Yeah.
Well, here's where Instructables come in, or maybe your YouTube. There's a million people with these clever little shelf systems to rotate your cans where you just drop it in and it rolls out the next in the rotation. I'm always yelling at my kids, can you rotate the cans, put the old in the back, stock it up right, but nobody ever listens. I got to check it all myself. You
can't rely on a kid for nothing, man.
And it's bad.
But I'm excited. I got my kid mowing the lawn this year. He's like finally 13. He's doing things, mowing lawn, washing dishes. I still have to go through and wash some of the dishes again, but what can you expect?
Some is better than all. Mm-hmm. Another thing with prepping, maybe you want an extra pair of shoes. I keep thinking, I'm somebody who's picky about my shoes don't need to look good, but I find a lot of shoes uncomfortable. I got flat feet and, whatever. And maybe shoes aren't your hang up. Maybe you have some other issue. But think about that kind of thing for the end of the world. You don't want to be riding the last year. If you're like me, you have one pair of shoes and you ride them to death. And you don't want to be where their death is right around the corner and then it's the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And you spend 6 months trying to find a new pair of shoes And then when there's no stores, it's not going to be pretty. Things like that. You're going to have coats for your kids. Are your kids growing? Or things going to change?
Right.
Again, clothing, something you can usually get on the cheap. Maybe not fancy clothing.
Go to the rich neighborhood and go to their Salvation Army.
I like it. These are, some of the things. You guys just, start a little outside the box thinking.
Right.
I mean,
And there's a lot of prepping that involves things that aren't food related.
For me, everything is, if I had more time, I would need a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's with everybody. So either you're working and you have money and you can buy cool shit, or you're working a lot less. And I mean, I know I need to buy building materials and stuff, but there's a shitload of work I could do with a pick in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it just takes too long. And you'd be amazed what people are too lazy to do for themselves and they pay other people to do.
Mm-hmm.
That you could kind of cash in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not hard to get free firewood if you're willing to go out with a chainsaw.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's, and honestly, if you watch Craigslist for a year, you can't tell me you can't find a free wood stove.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a pain in the ass. You're going to have to go get it. You're going to have to sand it. You're going to have to clean it. And, maybe you get one for $100, but I bet you get one for free. Yeah. I've seen them. I've seen them a lot.
Yeah.
I've seen probably 10 free. And I look at them and I'm like, yeah, that isn't cool enough. I don't want that one in my house. That looks like a metal box and it's kind of lame. I want something that looks like a freaking Franklin, Franklin stove. Or I want, something cool.
You have to have
I
like
can have
skulls plasma cut into the side.
Yeah, the plasma cut skulls. You saw it too. So, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You might not get what you want, but you might be able to get what you need for free. And you know what? Maybe you can get it maybe it's $50. Maybe they're $100. But you know what? Maybe you go take down your neighbor's tree for $100. And if you can't take down a tree, maybe you should be working on other things and then come back to us.
Maybe you should go spend a week in the woods thinking about your life.
Yeah. But, hey, we're just two guys out here drinking beers, talking.
Now, that was another thing you touched on briefly, building materials.
All right.
That's a great thing to have on hand. A stack of 2x4s. You can get 2x4s even at Lowe's at the lumber store for $1.50 each. And those things come in handy if you're a handy person.
Oh, I think I've mentioned this. I have 50 landscape ties laying next to my shed. They're stacked. They're under the roof. And just one day they were $1.88, and I've been watching, and every year they're $1.88 at Home Depot, and then the rest of the year they're like $4.25 each. And I can never figure out the dramatic difference. But one day when they were, I went for like a year where I needed them, and they were like $4, $4, and I'm like, screw this. But you know what? If I want to go build a tree stand in the woods, I have the landscape ties, I can do it. If I need to put up a new fence for a chicken coop and move it in the backyard, I have the landscape ties, I can do it. And really, you can build a hell of a lot of things out of a bunch of landscape ties. I mean, really, if I wanted to build a freaking... How about this? If I wanted to build a blacksmith shop in the backyard, I just took the trapping course. I'm all excited. I got my fox peas, I just told you. And maybe I wanted to build a trapping shed because they're gross and you don't want to be cutting up dead animals in your house. Guess what? I have the landscape ties. I can make a nice frame. And I've been watching on the Penny Saver, on Craigslist. In my town, they have a guy's got rough cut pine, slabs for $25 a pickup load, but you have to load it yourself.
What?
And it's been on there for over 6 months, and I keep looking at it going, I should go get that one weekend. And I still don't do it. And it's the same picture, and I don't know why this guy can't give them away. But I think that's maybe what I need to do, And then, so I got my landscaping ties, and for $25, I'm building a trapping shed, or I'm building a blacksmith shop, or whatever the next project I want is.
Right.
Maybe I'm building the she shed. I just learned on Whatever the Tool Man show is now. I don't know. I just watched some. Outdoor Man.
Okay. And he made a she shed?
He made a shed for the old lady in the backyard.
Nice.
And then when he did it,
that's where you keep her?
That's where you keep her.
Okay.
Because she kept going in his office, and he's like, whoa, how about I make you a shed in the backyard? And then she goes out, and he set it up so it'd be kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, you probably don't want this. I should just take it. And he set it up as a man cave.
Excellent. See, that's the long-term planning that you do.
You gotta think about these things.
Yeah.
So it was a double win because he got the man cave and he convinced her that he was doing something nice for her.
For her.
So you win both
got a
ways.
Man cave for him. Nice.
And then he was able to guilt her into feeling bad that she didn't think what he did was good enough for her.
So we're drinking this Guinness. What do you think of this? This is Guinness Blonde.
Guinness Blonde tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Not a complete win.
No, I like it. It's a much lighter beer. It's more of a spring summer beer.
All right.
And we're getting to be fall here.
It is fall, but if we were in Australia,
that's true.
It would be spring.
My kid's doing a report on Uganda.
Yeah.
For school, I looked it up. I think I might move, man.
Yeah, you're in.
Pretty legit. Yeah.
All right. So I think we covered everything. I'm checking my notes here.
Coupon clipping. ShopRite does that can thing.
I've heard people pull it off. I see those TV shows where they get paid.
Well, you ain't got to get free, but I mean, don't get your coupons and just use it to buy stuff you weren't going to buy anyway.
That's my problem. My kids keep showing up with coupons for stuff I never would have bought.
Right.
And they're like, buy one, get one free. And I'm like, but I wouldn't have bought one.
Yeah, right. You didn't need it.
So, don't go down a dangerous road. But if you can find a way to work the system that you're getting them for free, then I say do it.
Yeah. And, spend some time learning how to fix your broken shit. It's worth the time. If you don't have the money, it's worth the time to figure out how to fix your shit that isn't working right.
It turns out there are people out there who actually know how to fix small engines.
Mm-hmm.
I heard about these people, but I didn't think they were real. But there's a guy. I take my crappy lawnmower that's garbage that I'm going to buy a new one because it's less than a year old, but nobody put it in the shed. So it turns out you let it rain on a lawnmower a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
You got to clean shit out that I don't even know about. So, whatever. So I took that, the chainsaw that was crap,
mm-hmm.
and the weed whacker that never starts, threw them all in my truck, went over to some old man I always drive by who's sitting out front of his house and it says small engine repair.
Mm-hmm.
And I go in and it was like $20 for the lawnmower, like $15 for the weed whacker, and like $30 to get the chainsaw going.
Mm-hmm.
And if I let him keep the chainsaw, the other two were free. And they were all worthless to me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, my neighbor is one of those guys. I hit a stump with my lawnmower and just screwed it up, man. And he came by, I was talking to him, and he said, well, let me have it. Came back with a Franken-mower. He took another old mower that wasn't working, took it apart, and put them both together, and brought it back over there for free. Just because he's an old guy, does that for fun.
I mean, the guy was like, $20 my mower, that's too cheap. He's like, well, what else am I going to do with my time? I'm like, all right, sold. So, anyway, these are the things you could be doing on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to, get too crazy. You just start taking steps in the right direction.
That's right.
And like I said, if you don't have money, hopefully you have time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have either, I don't know. Start thinking how you can change shit.
Yeah. So if we're, are we wrapping this up?
We're wrapping this up.
All right. I was thinking about doing some more prepping episodes specifically about prepping.
Okay.
But if you guys have any ideas, want to send us in something we want to talk about, something you want to hear about or learn about, send us an email over at preppingbadass@gmail.com.
Sounds right.
And let us know what you're wanting to find out about.
I like that. I've been thinking about doing some kind of homesteading series, maybe 2 or 3 on, really setting up the homestead. I know, back in the day we did the home security episode, but maybe there's some other things you guys might want us to expand on. Shoot us some ideas. Leave some reviews on the iTunes. Send Kevin some hate mail for putting that song last week on there. If, you cops out there.
Yeah.
You want to send Kevin your hate
any
mail?
Other songs with dirty words, let me know.
Kevin's
see if
got
I can
a
slip
list.
them
in. Something about the teaches of peaches. I don't know what you got going, but all right. So otherwise, stay safe, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today. Planning a fishing trip shouldn't feel like a full-time job. With fishingbooker.com, you can find and book the perfect fishing trip within minutes. Fishingbooker.com connects you with trusted fishing captains around the world. Booking is fast, easy, and secure, with access to verified customer reviews, loyalty rewards, and around-the-clock customer support. Everything you need to book with confidence is in one place. So head to fishingbooker.com and start planning your next fishing adventure today.